according to Albert Breer, Ben Johnson does not plan on making it easy for teams in the offseason to hire him as their next head coach. We're going to talk about a little bit of that process. Plus, we're going to talk about things that the Bears need to look out for against the 49ers and dive into the mailbag. All that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go to get into this content for today, y'all. And so Albert Breer talked to Ben Johnson yesterday after Thursday Night Football, and he has a little bit of insight on what Ben Johnson is going to be planning to do and how he's going to plan on approaching jobs in the offseason. He said this: the Lions offensive coordinator is planning on taking a very different approach to this hiring cycle that he has the last couple. He will not chase interviews. If he takes an interview, it's going to be with the intention of actually pursuing the job. And to that end, he has a couple of criteria. What exactly are the criteria to pursue as head coach? This. Number one, he'll be looking for the organizational alignment, in particular between GM and head coach. And then he'll be looking for a recognition from the organization of the things that have gone wrong and willingness to fix them. That's huge. And I think that's an important thing, right? I get it that, a lot of Bears fans have the mindset, and we're getting into some voicemails, that they want the Bears to go after a proven head coach, somebody who's done a head coaching job at the NFL level before. But I for one, I'm fine with, I've said before, I just want them to go out and get the right guy. The right guy may be a veteran head coach. The right guy could be. And I'm not somebody who's jaded by saying, oh, we've gotten first-time head coaches before and it hasn't worked out. Yeah, we've gotten veteran head coaches before and it hasn't necessarily worked out either. I just want to go out and get the right guy. But part of what my criteria would be to show that somebody is the right guy is somebody who comes into a job and does hold the front office as well as accountable to what they've done and what they need to do to fix what's going forward with the team. And if Ben Johnson in his interview process says that he wants to talk to a front office and hear about what their willingness is to fix the mistakes that they've made, oh, yes, there's a laundry list of them for the Chicago Bears, and hopefully that is something that can be in alignment. And the alignment between your GM and head coach is important. And I know, Bears fans say, well, we'll never have the alignment. Whoever the new coach is didn't draft Caleb, and you're right in a sense if that's how you only look at alignment, but I look at it more so on being on the right page, having the same expectation about where the team is headed and what needs to go to get there, having a voice as far as a synergy between your front office and your head coach and what needs to be done on the football field and off the football field to help the team become that championship contender. So hearing this from Ben Johnson has already had a kind of different mindset, being very particular about what's needed for jobs, right? That's why he didn't take the Washington Commanders job. So, hearing that Ben Johnson plans to go through this cycle, he understands he's going to be one of the hottest names on the coaching market. It just is what it is. He is going to be that. And so for the Bears to do that, hey, we'll see. We'll see. And so Ben Johnson, listen, more coaches need to take that approach. We're seeing players take that approach, right? Kind of trying to control more than what rookies have in the past as far as just being in alignment with their careers and the trajectory of what their goals are for their careers. And coaches should have the same thing. Listen, coaches get fired a dime a dozen. And taking on a head coaching role in the wrong head coaching role can be detrimental to your career. So somebody like Ben Johnson, who does have a little cachet behind his name right now, should absolutely take advantage of using all of that to make sure that he's going to go to the organization and put pressure on the organization and say, listen, you can't just hire me and then make me the scapegoat for what goes on. If you're going to hire me, I'm going to take this job seriously, and I need to make sure that you guys are going to take the job seriously to put me in the best position to where I have what I need as far as a roster to compete. And that's great. I'm not mad at one bit of a head coach having that, and I hope that it absolutely works out. And if Ben Johnson ends up becoming the coach of the Chicago Bears, if that's what happens, I'm not saying that it will, but if that's what the future holds for this Bears team and this organization, I hope that it all works out and that everybody from Kevin Warren to Ryan Poles to Ben Johnson to the coordinators, everybody is all in alignment, because we haven't had that for real with the Chicago Bears. We haven't had that and a level of excellence. That's what we're trying to establish here, right? I know we can bring it down to just wins or losses, but it's more than that. It's about establishing a expectation of excellence, an expectation of sacrifice, an expectation of what's supposed to be done out there. And so we'll see. And I hope that that's any coach. I know we segued into this conversation because of the Ben Johnson conversation around it, but I say overall, any coach that is here and that is the next permanent head coach for the Chicago Bears, I hope that they all hold this organization. They all hold the front of whoever it is, right, has that to the hold the front office, their feet to the fire, and they got to perform right as long as players and coaches got to perform. Let's hope that that's the case. With that said, the Bears have a hellified matchup this week when they face off against the San Francisco 49ers. And there are a couple of things, key things that they need to look out for in this game. And one of those things is Deebo Samuel. I mean, listen, this Deebo Samuel is the definition of positionless player, Swiss Army knife, whatever you want to call it, in the NFL. He just is. He's almost the gold standard when it comes down to that. And Deebo Samuel has had big games against us before, and we absolutely need to be able to contain him. And if we can't contain him, that's one of Brock Purdy's favorite weapons. And if we don't contain him and find a way to do that, it's going to be a long night for the Bears. And so I'm not saying that it all comes down to Deebo because they got weapons and they know how to use them, right? 531 yards receiving that he has this year. And he also has only 79 yards rushing, which is crazy looking at he's had near 300 the last 3 years. But listen, you know what Deebo Samuel could do if you get him involved. And so Deebo Samuel is a huge part of what that San Francisco 49ers offense is going to try to do. And you got to really be prepared for that. And you got to try to disrupt Purdy. You got to try to disrupt Purdy. Listen, I don't know what else to say about that one. Brock Purdy is at 2,707 yards passing so far, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but then also 271 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns with his feet. Listen, this San Francisco 49ers team and this offense, the way that they get out in rhythm, right? And the way that all their weapons can get out in rhythm and it just becomes something special, hey, that's something you got to look out for. The Bears got to be prepared for what this team is going to try to do offensively. Also, Jordan Mason, 789 yards on the ground. We already know how the Bears have done. Not really the best in run defense. We got to be prepared for that. And if we're not on Sunday, it's going to be a long day, and the Bears are going to get punched in the fucking mouth is what's probably going to happen. So hopefully the Bears are prepared for that. But then overall, the defense. Listen, this offense has looked much better. Make no mistake about it. But the Niners defense is elite. That's just what it comes down to. This is a defense that you cannot come in with a weak game plan or they going to cook you. They're 5th in the NFL in total defense right now. Listen, they don't give up points, 24.7 points per game allowed. This is a stingy defense, and their pass defense is excellent. And so you got to listen, even with players being down, they've still found a way. And rookie quarterback Caleb Williams, he got to be prepared, man. And this offensive line, this is a game where we're going to need that offensive line to be ready and prepared. We're going to need them to be ready and prepared. That is a huge sign for concern. This defense can take away every bit of what the Chicago Bears do well. And if they do that, it's going to be ugly. It could have the potential to be vicious. So the Bears got to be prepared out there tonight. If they're not, like I said, it could be very ugly. And then you look at also what we have. Ryan Bates still has not practiced in the game. Roschon Johnson with the concussion. No surprise, he did not practice. Elijah Hicks did not practice. Keenan Allen luckily was a full participant yesterday after not practicing on Wednesday. DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, these guys didn't practice either. Listen, the Bears could come into this game absolutely hobbled. And if they are, we're going to need the next man up mentality. And so for this game on Sunday against the Niners, this is going to be a big test for Thomas Brown. And that's really what you're looking for as well. Thomas Brown, his first game as the head coach, the interim head coach for the Chicago Bears. What do you show us? What do you show us? What do you bring? How do you have this team prepared, right? We already know that it's galvanizing the team. Everybody's excited about having you there. You've cleared out the cancer of Matt Eberflus, and hopefully that brings about better play overall from this team. But listen, we got to be locked in. If we're not locked in, this is going to get fucking ugly, and we're going to get demolished. And so hopefully that we're ready. Hopefully that we're prepared. If not, it's going to be a long day for the Chicago Bears. And listen, you guys know I'm past the point of predicting Bears wins. I'm at the place I am now with the Bulls. I don't predict wins or losses for the Bulls. I just talk about what needs to happen for them to be in the best situation to possibly win. And they're going to have to execute. We're going to have to execute. We're going to have to take care of the ball. We're going to have to play violent on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to have to try to get to Brock Purdy There's a lot of things that we're going to have to try to do in this game, and hopefully the Bears are prepared. All eyes are going to be on the Bears. Caleb Williams, Thomas Brown, how well this team plays and rebounds after Matt Eberflus went down. It was the same after Shane Waldron got fired, and we'll see what this team can bring, man. Hopefully they're ready to go. If not, going to be a long night. But let's see what they got. But all right, with that said, this is Friday, so that means it is Mailbag Day. Let's go ahead and get into the voicemails. This one's from Darius.
What's going on, man? Darius from Dallas one more time here. I had a question for y'all, man, because I had a thought about this, because I really do like old Thomas Brown, but I guess I got a two-part question. What is it going to take for this kid, or this man, my bad, to earn this job? And I don't know if I want him to earn it. And here's why. I know it sounds crazy, because if he goes on a spill and proves himself and we end up winning, 5 out of our next 7 or 8 games or whatever, and he gets the job, man, we've pushed ourselves way outside that draft pick now. And I know some people are going to say, well, no, the team needs to learn how to win. Well, hell, we already know how to win. We've had so many late game comebacks. The team doesn't have a knowing how to win problem. We need at least another blue chip pass rusher and another blue chip offensive tackle. Now, I'm all for Thomas Brown, man, but it's a tough spot, because it's like, man, I want to root for him, but I also want us to have that draft pick. Okay, it's obvious we're not going to the playoffs now, so let's just be real. We want a good draft pick, all right? And if Thomas Brown wins out, then we're going to be picking 15th or 17th or something. Now we got to give up resources to get up and go get that pass rusher, that left tackle that we need. So it would be better for the team if he doesn't get the job and we end up, still, I know it sounds crappy, but if the record, don't get too high, we still stay in that top 10, and then maybe we can go get a Cliff Kingsbury, a guy that has already coached Caleb, that understands how to work him, what type of plays he needs. Caleb is familiar with it. So that way it's not just him starting over with a brand new offensive coordinator in a system that he's not familiar with. I like Ben Johnson, but it's Matt Nagy all over again, guys. We're going to bring that guy in. He hasn't had a lot of leadership as far as coaching, okay? And that has been the issue. And that's why, Warren came out and said what he said as far as the type of coach that he's looking for. So we got to have a guy that has head coaching experience, because we can't keep going through this with bringing in these up-and-coming guys thinking we about to snag the next Sean McVay. Stop reaching for that, okay? Stop reaching for the Ben Johnsons of the world, all right? Let's lose the rest of these games. Let's get a top 10 draft pick, okay? And let's go get a guy like Cliff Kingsbury who knows Caleb, and who Caleb knows him, and they got that familiarity. They already kind of understand, how to work with each other, and it's going to be a smooth transition. That's what should have happened last year, in my opinion. Cliff Kingsbury should have been the coach that we got, but we'll see how.
What will it take for Thomas Brown to earn the head coaching position? I mean, I think it's going to come down to how well the team looks and performs under him. How well do things look like they're trending up? I get what you're saying as far as the draft pick and you want losses and things like that, but here's what I come down to it. The Bears right now, I think they have the 11th worst record. They're like 10, 11, somewhere in there. They're not going to drop down. I don't think the Bears are going to win at the rate to where we're going to worry too much about it. I think the focus needs to be on, either way, this is a deep draft in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and Ryan Poles should be able to find the players that he needs. And I know you said you don't want to give up assets, but listen, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I'm not going to ever wish for losses for my team. That's just not what I'm going to do. I understand what you're getting at there, and I completely understand the mindset of it. But when I look at this draft and how deep it is potentially in the trenches, I think we'll be perfectly fine. Now, as far as needing a head coach with experience, I'll say, listen, John Fox. It really comes down to just getting the right guy. It's no magical algorithm that says if you go veteran or if you go, it's just you got to find the right guy. If you don't breed the right the right environment, it doesn't matter if you get an experienced guy or not, whether it's Cliff Kingsbury who has some experience or not. It does not matter. If you don't breed the right environment and don't find the right guy for your roster that's going to speak to your roster, that everybody's that's going to work for there, who's going to understand how to use the players right, and is going to hire the right assistants and coordinators. So I'm not too worried about it being a guy with experience or a first-time head coach. Like I said in the opening segment, I'm more worried about it being the right guy. That's the thing that I'm looking at. I'm worried about it being the right guy. But let's get into this next voicemail. This one's from K2.
Yo, Haize, what up, man? It's your boy K2, man. I know it's been a minute since I called in, man, but I just thought I might chime in, man. Hopefully be a part of one of these mailbag episodes, man. And shout out to the guys, man. I hope y'all all doing well. I hope y'all all had a good Thanksgiving. And I just want to quickly talk about this head coaching situation, bro. Like, I like the fact that we have a guy like Thomas Brown in our building, bro. Like, I understand they gonna do their due diligence and try to bring in the best head coach they possibly can, but I just like Thomas Brown, bro. I know it's a cheaper route to go if we keep him and stuff like that. Like, we in a position where we can go get a big name coach, and that's cool. But if we ain't bringing in Kyle Shanahan, if we ain't bringing in Bill Belichick or Vrabel, in my opinion, I think we should just keep Thomas Brown, bro, because he said something in his press conference today that, I mean, everything he says, I kind of feel confident about, bro. But he said something today that I know for sure this team will galvanize around. He said that he's direct with his message, he's concise, and he don't care about entertaining them. He just cares about his message being direct and communicating effectively. Bro, yeah. That's what they need to hear, bro. We don't need no clown at the helm, bro. Like, and he ain't that, bro. He's proven that he's a solid guy with a spirit, with a spiritual aura to just lead, bro. Like, because Lovie Smith had that. Lovie Smith didn't care about entertaining the soul. He just cared about making sure that his team was prepared to win a football game. There's a reason why ever since Lovie we ain't been able to find that, because every other guy we get at the helm are clowns, bro. They probably just lollygagging around, probably playing in practice, doing this and doing that, bro. Like, you can't name one coach that wasn't doing that. I tell you who ain't finna be doing that, Thomas Brown, bro, and I believe him. I believe he ain't finna be playing with them, bro, because it's all about getting ready to play on Sundays, bro. He understands his opportunity is now. I'm just saying, bro, like, you know, if you ain't bringing in no top-notch guy and you ain't trying to back up the Brinks truck for him, and I don't care about Ben Johnson. We don't need Ben Johnson in Chicago, bro. We've proven to stop him several times, bro. I'm just saying. I like Thomas Brown, bro. I like to see what that can do. I like how he galvanizing the troops, man. Y'all just tell me what y'all think, man. Hope y'all have a good week, man. I hope y'all have an even better weekend, man. Chicago up, bear down.
Thomas Brown is a great leader. I completely agree with you. Like, just the way that he takes accountability already, more accountability than Matt Eberflus, even though Thomas Brown is just taking over as the interim head coach. He has shown tremendous accountability for what the Bears did. Like, he didn't have to say, hey, I got a place in it too with not calling the timeout. Like, he didn't have to say that. Everybody was blaming Matt Eberflus. If he wouldn't have said anything about that, I don't think people would have been like, hey, you know what Thomas Brown didn't address in his presser? The timeout situation. So I think they would have, so it's good. And I think that Thomas Brown just has a aura around him, right? And so I think that's a big part in this also. And here's Sean McVay talk about him as much as he has and then the light that he has. Thomas Brown has a great chance, and he is a good leader. And whether it's him staying on as offensive coordinator or being the next head coach for the Chicago Bears, whatever the future holds there, I'm all for it, right? If he ends up, Thomas Brown is the type of guy that you look at, and if he's the guy that's you're just happy that he's in your organization, right? The more and more that I see him, the more that I hear him talk, the more that I learn about him, everything. He's just a guy that you just makes you proud to have in your organization. And the Bears haven't had a whole lot of that. So I do hope that he stays around, whatever the role ends up being, right? And he is the type of guy that I look at and I'll say, I'm just happy he's here in Chicago, especially through all the turmoil and everything that we've been through since last year with our assistant coaches to this year with assistant coaches and the head coach. Like, it's been the same thing. And so Thomas Brown does seem like a guy that really, he holds himself. And thus, when he holds players accountable, they're more open to hearing it because he seems like he's a guy that holds himself at a high level of accountability. And that's something that's special. That's something that really makes me align with the coach. And let's hope that Thomas Brown is here for a long time. I'm not mad of it if he is. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's get into the next voicemail. This one's from Mike.
Yo, hey, what it do? Yo, this your boy Mike. Once again, calling from the South Side. And today in this voicemail, what I really want to talk about is I want to talk about this article that Mike Florio from ESPN put out a couple days ago, basically suggesting that the Bears should turn over every stone possible to find a new coach, including possibly trading for a head coach. Now, I was watching something today where they said that after he put out the article, that there was a current head coach that reached out to him and said, why was my name not included in this article? Because I think he mentioned Mike McDaniels, John Harbaugh, Kyle Shanahan, and a couple of other people. And he said there was a current head coach that's currently coaching in the NFL right now. He's a head coach. He said, reached out to him and said, why was I not included? And I'm thinking that maybe it might have been Sean McVay that could have possibly texted him that. Because, bro, listen, the only two coaches that I would even consider trading for would be either Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan. To me, nobody else is worth trading draft capital for. And I see some people saying, oh, well, I wouldn't want to trade my draft capital for a coach and all this when we're still trying to build a team and all that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, look, this is the way I look at it, right? We have Caleb Williams, who we believe is a franchise quarterback for the first time in Bears history. So, yeah, Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, all these guys, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They just, whatever. We don't know what Ben Johnson is. Mike Vrabel, he's okay. But for me, in my honest opinion, our only chance of ever being a playoff contender and reaching a possible Super Bowl would be to get Shanahan or McVay. McVay has been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. Shanahan has been to 3 Super Bowls, 1 as an offensive coordinator, 2 as a head coach. So these guys know what it takes to get 2, and McVay knows what it means to win the Super Bowl. I would probably take McVay over Shanahan because, you know, the Rams, Stafford is getting old, the roster's getting old, the 49ers are regressing. Shanahan might not want to go through a rebuild. Maybe it's time for one of these coaches to move on. And, you know, like I said, Shanahan and McVay, I would move heaven and earth to get one of them here in Chicago. But you let me know what you think. Chicago up there.
Trading for a head coach is probably highly unlikely for the Chicago Bears. The Bears need so many assets. I don't see them giving up future assets to trade for a coach when you're going to have a real big chance at a lot of guys. So, yeah, the Kyle Shanahans, the talk and rumors around trading for a head coach, whatever, it's not going to happen. It sounds like something fun. Sounds like a great headline for people to use. Sounds like a great conversation piece to get fans of a team talking, but it's probably not going to happen. And I don't think that it should happen either. Like, again, go out and find the right guy. That's it. There are tons of coaches there that you don't necessarily have to trade for a coach and give up assets. It'd be different. Like if this was a team that we looked at, much like we were a team that just kept going on playoff runs and we just needed a coach to just get us over the hump, but we felt pretty confident that we had a roster with the right coach that can win like a title, then you trade for a coach if you just see the coach that you want. But where the Bears are, we can't give up assets to trade for a head coach, to me, in my opinion, unless it's way down the line assets. But I just don't see that happen. So I don't think take all those rumors and that talk as a grain of salt. It's really just analysts and things trying to drum up conversation and clicks. I don't really think it's something that's really going to happen for the Chicago Bears team. I just don't see it. But hey, I've been wrong before. Maybe I'm wrong again. All right, let's get into the next voicemail. This one's from Fred.
Hey, yo, Haize, what up, man? This be your boy Fred. What it do? Hey, man, I'm so glad that the Bears is starting to, make sense of doing things, getting up to speed. Like you said, man, some of us wasn't born in 85, so it's time for them to give us a winning team and a winning culture. I'm happy that they fired Eberflus because the shit he was doing, like losing close games and challenge, like making unnecessary, like it was just ridiculous, man. And you got all the talent on the team for you to not to do anything minus the O-line. I'm glad they fired him and Shane Waldron, cause that it was terrible. It was just ridiculous, man. It's like you can't keep giving us fans, bullshit that we're supposed to be okay with this. No. As a Chicago Bear fan, I'm not going to accept that. They got to the point, and maybe I'm not going to lie, Haize, and I'm going to be real with you. They put me in a moment to where I didn't even want to cheer for the Bears no more because it's like we getting the same thing every year. And it's like, when y'all going to establish that winning culture? When you going to establish the respect? When you going to establish making a name for yourself? And George McCaskey, for you to be the damn owner, like you should be ashamed of yourself to want to give your fans losing season after season after season. But I guess he's okay with, getting money or whatever though. But I hope, Thomas Brown, if he can, get the job, then that'll be good because him and Caleb have that chemistry and he seems like he know what he's doing and he got the team. Only thing he got to get is the O-line and another edge rusher. Hopefully, Coach Williams run the defense how the players want to play, be more aggressive, stop with that conservative shit that Eberflus was doing. I can't play for a conservative coach. That let me know that you're scared. I don't like playing for no scary-ass coach, and we definitely don't need no scary-ass coach on the Chicago Bears team. We need coaches who got balls and, who gonna go out there and do their fucking thing, putting cleats to ass. Because that's what we need. We need to establish that monster in the midway. We need to establish that dominance, how this Bears team is, man. Because what Flus was doing, it was just ridiculous. And Brian Poles, they say he wanted to fire him after the Patriots game, but I don't know, man. I just hope that if Thomas Brown is the right coach, then get him the job. If not, get the right coaches. That's all I'm saying. Get the right coaches for this team, man. But let me know what you think, Haize. Chicago up, better down enough.
Bears doing things in a sensible way. I mean, listen, I couldn't word it any better myself. Like, this team hasn't always done things sensibly. This team hasn't always done things and gone about things in a way that makes sense for an organization. And that's what Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren are supposed to bring. That's what they were supposed to bring to this, a change in direction. And yes, George McCaskey needs to sit his ass down and trust the people that he brought in here to do their damn job. Us doing and repeating the same thing, the history, the whole mindset of this is just how we do it. That's fucking suffocating for any business, much less a football team. We can't have that. We have to change what we've done. We have to change the way that we've gone about things. And I think that hopefully this is an opportunity, like I said in the episode a couple days ago, this is a huge opportunity to course correct the Chicago Bears, not just the roster, but I'm talking about what the organization has done before. You fired a head coach in the middle of the season. That's unprecedented for the Chicago Bears. It's never happened. Now do something else unprecedented and go out and find the right fucking head coach. Let's do that. Let's develop a quarterback to where he can be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Let's do that. Let's start changing that history for the Bears. Like, 85 don't mean shit no more. Like, and listen, I hold that team in a bunch of reverence. I wasn't even alive, but I have so much reverence for that team and what they were able to accomplish, and looking at how that team competed, the way that they were dogs. I have so much reverence for that team. But reverence ain't doing shit for us in 2025 for a team that was 40 years ago. It's not doing shit for us, unfortunately. And I say that with a heavy heart because, listen, we can't keep riding off the 85 Bears. Like, and so I really feel like the McCaskies hold, and I understand that was a special, special team in the history of sports. That was a special team. Make no mistake about it. And I understand why why people who were around or just that fell down the line would hold that team with so much reverence. But we can't let that be our identity. We've had lifetimes. There have been Bears fans that have lived and died and never seen the Bears even remotely live up to that. We gotta establish some new things. And I think it's time, and holding that and wanting that for your franchise, that's not a bad thing. Let's just hope we can get there. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today. This one's from Xavier.
What's going on, fellas? This is Xavier calling in, man. I got something I want to speak with y'all about, get y'all opinion on, bro. So, like, obviously, Poles wanted to fire Flus after the New England game, couple games back. McCaskey didn't let him with his bitch ass. But anywho, how about, okay, do y'all feel like 5 games is enough? Because I personally don't feel like 5 games is enough to get a true gauge on what Thomas Brown could do as a head coach. I feel like 7 games would have been better, just a better sample size to see what he can give us, bro. Because, like, 5 games, like, even if he goes 5-0 or if he goes 4-1, I still feel like they're going to be leaning towards Van Johnson because now that's the hot, sexy name, pause. But, yeah, y'all know what I'm saying. That's like the hot name in the media, bro, right now. Like, I don't know, bro. Personally, I've been rooting for Ben Johnson since the end of last year, so I wouldn't be mad. But if Thomas Brown proves to be a competent head coach, if this dude could go 5-0 with the teams that we have to play, I mean, you got to look at that and take that serious, bro. That's a leader of men right there, bro. So, like, I'm cool with that. Another thing, Marcus Freeman, bro. I love Marcus Freeman, bro. He a black head coach, bro. I love him. That dude is cold, bro, at Notre Dame. But I don't know if he's ready to assume this role yet. I do want to see him get a shot in the NFL, though, because Marcus Freeman is also a leader of men from what I could see in college, but those are young men and boys turning into men. It's different when you got dudes making hundreds of millions of dollars in the NFL. But yeah, that's just my take, bro. I just don't feel like 5 games is enough of the sample size to figure out if, like, enough, like, for them to give him a real shot. I don't feel like Thomas Brown is going to get a real shot, but that's just my thoughts. I want to know how y'all feel about that. Chicago up, bear down.
Is 5 games enough? Here's what I'll say on that. Yes, because you don't have to go 5-0. Keep in mind, people get hired as first-time head coaches that they've never had a head coaching job before. So yes, 5 games is enough to learn what you need to learn if they want to keep him on as head coach. And I mean, they're still going to interview him. They're still going to talk to him. Keep in mind, it's not just 5 games. He's been here. So he knows your players. He knows that he has more than 5 games worth of data. So it's not really just 5 games. But yes, 5 games is enough to get a feel on what the Bears could get out of him as a head coach. I think it is because, again, you hire first-time head coaches. So I think 5 games is more than likely. He has an inside edge. And, we don't have to go 5-0 over that time. Like, everybody makes this 5-0, 5-0 thing. You don't have to go 5-0 to show that you can be a successful head coach, especially with what the Bears have dealt with. It just comes about how much of the preparation, how much of the mindset, how much of the mentality, how much of those things. Keep in mind, it's really hard as a head coach as well, as an interim head coach to really change a lot. He's not going to, if Thomas Brown ends up being the permanent head coach, which I still have my doubts on, it's not like he's implementing his own things. He's just trying to refine some of the things that are already there. The offseason will be the chance he really gets the time to implement his shit. So there's that aspect of it as well. But let me know what you guys think about everything. Make sure you guys are following the show at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.